Look at this chart. The rapidly rising line shows India churning out millions of university graduates every year, but this plummeting bar reveals employer satisfaction. Right now, 75% of higher education institutions in India are entirely misaligned with what the industry actually needs. The modern job market often prefers hiring someone with less than a 10th grade education over a college graduate. The economy is optimizing for rapid execution. Jobs are designed to be learned quickly, performed repetitively, and replaced easily. We have inadvertently built degree factories. When education is no longer a requirement, training stops being an investment. Workers are hired for immediate, disposable tasks. In this system, real skill doesn't accumulate, it simply expires. This raises a difficult question. How did a civilization historically obsessed with deep, holistic knowledge transform into a massive factory for unemployable memorizers?
To answer that, we have to establish the original baseline, the ancient Gurukul system. This was an educational model completely devoid of formal grades, standardized testing, or rote memorization. The philosophical core of this system intertwined learning with the natural environment. The goal was to build character and instill humility, with a heavy emphasis on active debate rather than passive listening. Crucially, these gurukuls taught the dignity of labor. Practical, hands-on life skills like agriculture and craftsmanship were valued equally alongside intellectual and spiritual pursuits. A foreign empire deliberately targeted and dismantled this holistic foundation, systematically rewriting the operating system of the Indian mind to serve colonial interests. The structural engineering of the modern Indian education system traces back to a specific inciting incident, Lord Thomas Babington Macaulay and his 1835 Minute on Education. Macaulay's documented goal was explicit. He aimed to actively destroy indigenous knowledge systems and create a subordinate class of intermediaries, a demographic that would be Indian in blood and color, but British in taste, morals, and obedience. To achieve this, the entire mechanics of learning shifted. Rote memorization and strict obedience replaced practical skills and critical thought. Purely theoretical textbook knowledge became the standard, stripping all dignity away from manual labor. This architecture, what we now call Macaulayism, was never intended to uplift the population. It was an incredibly efficient machine engineered to mass-produce compliant clerks to administer the British Empire. The tragic irony of 1947 is that while India secured its political independence, the new nation kept the colonial education architecture completely intact. Successive post-colonial governments struggled to resolve systemic unemployment because instead of replacing Macaulay's clerk-producing machine, they simply scaled it up to fit hundreds of millions of people. We are now seeing the breaking point of that decision. The system has evolved into an intense pressure cooker of hyper-competitive exams, like the JEE and NEET, which force intense study routines, cause massive student stress, and actively stifle critical thought. Decades of political freedom failed to yield intellectual independence. The result is millions of highly stressed young adults who hold degrees but lack the practical, hands-on skills to actually perform a job. The National Education Policy 2020 is a sweeping, systemic mechanism of decolonization built to finally break Macaulay's machine. The policy revives the indigenous ideals championed by historical thinkers, adapting their philosophies of self-reliant, craft-based learning for the demands of the 21st century. The primary mechanical fix in this policy is how success is measured. It replaces purely summative, rote memorization exams with regular formative assessments that actually encourage and measure critical thinking. By changing how students are tested, NEP 2020 shifts the entire output of the education system. The goal is no longer to manufacture obedient job seekers, but to cultivate innovative job creators. To do this, the policy mandates the integration of vocational training into the curriculum, starting as early as the 6th grade. Fusing modern STEM education with hands-on vocational skills restores the ancient dignity of labor. It prepares students for the actual, real-world challenges of running a business. This flowchart illustrates how rigid silos are dismantled. It allows students to pause schooling, gain experience, and deposit achievements into a centralized digital vault. A light yet tight framework connects institutions securely, enabling out-of-the-box thinking without losing accountability.
These structural changes permanently re-engineer the system to prioritize what a student can actually build, rather than just what they can remember. Zooming out, NEP 2020 functions as the primary economic engine for achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India. By marrying the holistic, practical wisdom of its ancient past with modern entrepreneurial STEM skills, India is reclaiming its mind and unleashing its future workforce.